Hello and welcome to Football United TV. I'm your host Matt King and I'm here with Bills and I'm here with Eric. How are you doing?
Doing good, but but I'm doing good. Yeah, no, I'm doing good, my man.
I was looking like that way.
I mean, you threw it to me. I didn't know. I was like, well, I was looking down and you threw it, and I was like, oh gosh, yeah. No, but no, no, I'm doing fantastic actually. No, today we were just talking about football. I mean, we just had a discussion interview about what we were going to be talking about today, and
so can we talk maybe about Frank Lampard's appointment for Chelsea now?
Absolutely.
How do you feel about that?
Absolutely.
So, I'm doing fine, by the way.
Yeah. Just saying. No, with Frank Lampard being appointed, it's a new direction for Chelsea. I think that Chelsea fans understand that they're not the biggest club in England. I think they have the expectation that I think most other English teams, for me, just as a bystander, would be that it's the perfect opportunity for young players to come into the league and prove themselves. You have an academy system, you have a system that is set up to give players from all ranges. I mean, you've got players who are older, but they went on loan because they were still part of English football and they've still played, they've still adapted, but they have something to prove.
Well, that's the thing. You talk about the system, but it's kind of famous for not really giving people that opportunity. And we've seen that with Christensen now, and that's good. And in the pre-season, it looks like Lampard is, whether it's from his own choice or whether it's because he has to, because he can't sign players, but we're seeing him.
For the job.
Well, what do you think? Do you think this is actually out of his own desire or out of necessity, or what?
To be honest, it was a surprise to me when it first happened. I really thought that we were going to keep Sarri. I really, when we lost Sarri, I was a little confused. I was like, okay, either because they did say that the potential of Pochettino was on the table. Pochettino was more directed towards Madrid. It was from Juventus. Who was Juventus? Allegri. Yeah. So Allegri was linked with us, and I thought they were just going to do a straight swap. And when I found out that Allegri was just going to back out and Sarri was going to take over Juventus, I was like, what's happening? I mean, Sarri gave us a Europa League. Sarri gave us a UEFA Champions League. Like, you know what I mean?
I guess my question's more about, do you think the appointment of Frank Lampard was knowing that there was going to be this transfer ban, none of the bigger managers would take it, and whoever was going to be in there would be forced maybe to use some of this really good talent as well. These are great players who've got out on loan. People like, I think he's finally moved on, people like Mark and Barry,
Can I ask you a question first? How are you?
I'm okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Here we are at my favourite bar in Madrid. We're drinking lovely Laverkin beer. Okay, Okay. So you think that appointment was about the idea that maybe you're going to be in this position where it'd be necessary to actually use some of this loan talent or young talent or someone like Pulisic who you'd already agreed.
Well, Pulisic, here you have Pulisic, and it's interesting you say that Pulisic is now filling in the boots that Clint Dempsey left for us. I think that Dempsey was the last major player I think in the Premier League.
So you're talking about states here.
Yes. But it's absolutely an American thing, and I think that here you have this kid who's absolutely proven himself in the German league. He's absolutely proven somewhat of the worth to be able to step on that stage and put goals away, be clinical in terms of getting the stats in terms of assists and goals. Like that, to me, that says that you're a player. If you can go into a league like Germany and be on a team where you're consistently doing it at a young age, you have potential to be a player.
A solid team that's been doing well, and he's been a focal part of that as well.
I'm never going to expect him to walk in his first year and fill in Hazard's shoes. But if he continues to develop, who knows where he can go? He can develop it into his own style of player, where I think that it'll be unique. Maybe he'll be a goal scorer and assist, but it'll be an American style of player where he's not going to be necessarily adapted to a technical. The American style of play is we have the ability. We've kind of been able to study kind of all the games close in because we've been able to. But like for us, we look at something like the Premier League. for example. And that right there, that's the most physical league in the world, hands down, in terms of physical, in terms of your whole body. I'm not talking about like.
Lots of players have never made it in the Premier League because of the physicality.
It's the most physical.
The whole Italian league is slow, and the French league is a farmers league. You know what I mean?
In terms of the combination of everything, the Premier League has that down.
But you've got he'll get a lot of protection at Chelsea. If you think about the other midfielders that you've got, people like Kante, people like Drinkwater.
But he's also gritty. He has the ability to hold it down himself.
But he'll feel more secure with Ross Barkley in front of him, Kante behind him. Exactly.
He's stayed on. They've managed to secure that as well.
There's a lot of potential,
which is really strange, isn't it? How did they do that? How did they secure Kovacic from Real Madrid?
Because I think that Kovacic saw the potential that he finally had. He had the freedom of playing. I think that Sarri allowed him to get forward and prove himself.
Yeah.
And I think that Kovacic sees himself being able to prove himself because Kovacic is very efficient in terms of tackling and getting the pass off. He's quick at that, and he learned that through the Spanish style of playing in somewhere like especially at Madrid. Madrid is a very you gotta get in, you gotta get the tackle, and then you gotta pass it.
Yeah.
Especially like Ramos is the best. You're talking about a style that is like boom boom, and Kovacic has that, and that is unique about him. Especially coming, that's why Spanish players especially.
I mean,
do you have the same feeling with anybody in Aston Villa about the same thing?
This is
like,
true.
You know what I mean? There's someone that you really want to keep and that really gives you that play. And
you know what? And both fingers crossed.
Aston Villa, by the way.
Yeah. Both fingers crossed. I really don't want to jinx this, but it looks like nobody's really under threat. We released a few players and it really, really surprised me. Like good squad players that could have helped us in the league in crisis or whatever, But I think we're going to keep hold of the whole squad, or at least all the valuable people. Jack Grealish, to answer your question, is the best player in the team. I don't know. I mean, that's a debatable point. He's certainly one of them, but he's the heart of the team. He's the captain. He's the local boy.
What do you see him like in terms of? Do you see him being because he's clearly a player? He's clearly got it. There's no doubt about that. Do you see him potentially getting drawn away by another club, a bigger club, or do you see him staying with Villa and fighting it, especially if he's a standout player and he comes into the Premier League with some backing? I mean,
the more likely probability is that he will eventually leave for someone bigger. The thing that will work against that, I'm absolutely sure that he would love to stay with Villa and just have a lot of success with the club. It's just if he gets the opportunity, because if he gets to his late 20s. Or maybe even a bit earlier. I mean, look at Hazard. He has had success with Chelsea, but he wanted the highest level of success. And he waited till he was 28, 29.
But I think that's perfect timing for him because he understood that. I think that he got years on him more.
Do you think he'll stay if he gets something bigger, like
if we end up
or Tottenham come in for him?
Then eventually.
You know how the transfer market's so tight right at the end as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, he'll be a valuable player, but also just being English. He'll get in the England team this year as well. I'd say.
Yeah.
If anyone who watches this channel wants to take a tenner on that, I'd do that. Jack Grealish just play for England before the end of.
Big up Sierra Leone as well.
But we'll just have to see. I don't know. It's going to be a weird one. I think if we can get ourselves back to where we were, say when Martin O'Neill left, then that's a great position. That would be an absolute pleasure for the guy, But
I think
if we're not winning trophies or getting to that kind of level, then
Let me ask you this. Who are the big name, the transfers that will actually, who are Villa potentially signing, will they sign that look like are going to be standout players for being able to take some of the pressure off of this guy? Because if he's got what the potential that you're saying has, then he's going to want to need some back. And with the amount of money that you guys are sitting on now, are you going to spend a little bit more, but are you also going to save that for a potential like a future? Because you gotta understand, if you're coming into the Premier League, the likeliness, the odds of you going back down are very
Huge.
They are, and I'm not. But Villa have Premier League experience, which is why I don't see Villa going down necessarily next
As
year.
an institute,
I
yeah.
say that's why I say
Our manager doesn't, and most of our first team squad haven't, but they're Premier League quality, and I include them.
I think with JT behind you, with backing behind you, with you've got a kid who's out there to prove himself. I think that Villa had a season to where I would say, like I say, maybe I would say aim for somewhere between 15th and 12th. If you give me a 15th and 12th finish, I would say shout 13 and 14th at the worst. Where like if you guys actually have.
What about Man United?
Yeah, I was going to say, we should do each other's teams for predictions. That's good. Alright, 13 for Villa.
I see. Alright, for United, if you want me to give United a shot.
I'm going to ask you guys, yeah. That's
Well, no, we'll go on.
I'll say at the end.
I say honestly, if you have a player who was supposed to be your main man, because Pogba is the main man of United. At the end of the day, that is the main man of United. And so if he has a standout season, which takes time, that's what people fail to understand about the Premier League. That's where I get. I don't see how else he would, other than the fact that he would have a good season.
It's consistency, man. That's what he needs. The talent is
he's not in the Italian league where it's not going to be, the expectation is going to be as high.
It's not just the Italian league, the dominant team by a long way of the Italian league as well. Come on then.
That's what I'm saying.
United.
No, but I think United, if he has a good season, I'd see if the striker, like who are you looking to replace with him? That's a question.
So we really do need a right winger and a centre back, and now we're looking at it could have happened while we're on air. Like I see the way that Maguire from Leicester is supposed to be the centre back that will be a part of the defensive.
That's going to be massive. De Gea
has a contract,
and if he has a good year, he doesn't have to have the best year. He doesn't even have to have the best year. But what De Gea has in his qualities, he has big game moments. And if he continues to do the big game moments, he continues to get that job done in terms of the expectation. He's not going to have. I don't think.
Man United owe a lot to David De Gea. I really think so.
I've seen him be
much worse position right now than when him since Ferguson left.
So when do you think that?
Yeah, come on,
Chelsea United and Man United first.
I see United this year probably at your best, at your very best, second.
And Chelsea?
I see Chelsea at their very best. This is a tough question because
very tough question.
Yeah, I'd say Chelsea.
No. Because here's the thing. Like there's going to be the fairy tale. I think there's going to be a fairy tale start to begin with Lampard. I really do. I really think there's going to be, and if they continue to hold it, who knows?
It's expensive. Yeah.
That's what I say, just as a Chelsea fan. But like for me, I see Liverpool or fairy tale Chelsea, because I gotta keep that yeah. But I see Liverpool, City winning, either giving a Champions League shout or Rio like going to the final or semi-final.
Okay.
With them finishing third or fourth. Arsenal giving a shout for the title. I would say that Arsenal is probably.
I really think so.
I honestly think that this is going to be Arsenal's year. I don't know why. But seriously, you can't tell me like with the combination and the attack, the patience that Arsenal have in terms of their play, and now that they have true clinicals.
Right, so basically we got cut off accidentally, so we just thought we'd just like finish it off out here. Eric, what was you saying exactly about the rest of that?
I honestly think that
and Man United as well, right?
Chelsea and Man United, I think opening day is going to be the most exciting day of English football. It's the most exciting game of English, the opening day of English football. This 1920 season, I think that it's going to start the Premier League off just where we want it to. I mean, you've got a clash of a classic, team against team. You've got a Lampard who has everything on the line to prove himself and be able to go on and actually take the Premier League by the cuff of his neck if he has it. I've seen there's somewhat of a Chelsea magic there. I mean, the last time we saw it was Champions League 2012-2013 season with Di Matteo. I mean, Di Matteo came into that team and rejuvenated after an Andre Villas-Boas sacking and led them to a Champions League final. I haven't been as excited as a Chelsea fan since to this new Lampard appointment. For United, if United players step up, if United players stand out, I think that a lot of pressure's on, some of these guys, like Herrera. Herrera left. Pogba. I think that it is a lot of pressure on some of the guys like Rashford. You've got Martial potentially coming in and coming back off and proving himself there.
So what was you thinking about Man United?
There's monkeys crashing cymbals in my head. No.
So you Aston Villa's position at the end?
Aston Villa, I like what Eric said, but I think it would be good if we could avoid relegation, obviously, but I think it's going to be tight if we do. So we might just hover a couple of places above the relegation zone. If we have a good season and Eric's right, I'll be super happy. And I'm not saying it won't happen. There's a good chance. We could surprise me. Chelsea and United, yeah. All right, I'll just go for my top 6, top of the head. I haven't really thought about
prediction.
City to go to the Champions League, Liverpool to go for the Premier League. So I think that's going to finish Liverpool first, City second. Spurs is a tricky one. They're starting to spend money, so it's sort of Spurs and Chelsea for me after that. I fancy Spurs for third. Sorry, Eric. Chelsea for fourth. And then United, I'd call fifth. I think you can get ahead of Arsenal.
That's fair. I see the Premier League changing a little bit. I see the Premier League each year surprises us. I've never seen a league in my lifetime that has changed so much throughout the years. I mean, one year you think that this team's gonna win, the next year you think that this team's gonna win, and then let Leicester come out of nowhere, 5,001. And I think that this is one of those years that doesn't quite have that same maybe fairy tale ending for like a Leicester, but I see some magic out. I see some really teams focusing on other competitions. I see drama out. I see this late on yellow cards, red cards in competitions. I think that this is going to be a gritty year for teams. I think that this is really a year for teams to prove themselves, especially in the Champions League. Watching an English team come in and win on Spanish soil, I think that the Spanish teams have something to prove now, and I see a lot of the transfers coming here, and I think that the business going on here is gonna that's never gonna be, I'm talking about Griezmann to Barcelona, and now going to the Champions League and facing off with some of these English teams. I see somebody Hazard leaving Chelsea and potentially even facing them in the first round of the Champions League. That to me right there is what is going to give the excitement to football this year. That is gonna. I think that's what's gonna change it all.
That's gonna be a good year. I think. Yeah. One
Right.
question for Matt, very quickly. Put your neck on the line, Mr. Football United. So
Okay.
I want the Premier League winner. In fact, I want the top 4 for the Premier League. I want the Champions League winner, and I want Premier League top scorer. Tell me.
So I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Man United are gonna win the league this year.
Jesus Christ.
On underrated, yeah, I know. It's not being biased, but I'm going to put money on that stuff because, like you said about Leicester and now all that, I kind of feel like there could be a good buzz that's coming if we get the players in that we need. I know it's so crazy.
All right, United first.
United first, Liverpool second, because that's what I want to see, like a Man United Liverpool. Liverpool second, Man City third, and Chelsea fourth. I know you think that's crazy, but
I do think you're crazy, but that's
it's
all right.
not what I predict, it's what I hope. It's what I hope.
All right, top scorer Premier League.
Top scorer Premier League.
I don't know, actually.
Maybe I'd say maybe Harry Kane again might have a really good season, possibly if he comes back okay.
Kane or Salah, or if Eric's got a point about Arsenal, maybe Aubameyang. Yeah.
I think either Aubameyang or Lacazette are going to win the Golden Boot. I think that for me, Firmino maybe even give that a shout. I think that Liverpool might change their dynamic and their tactics to where they're going to focus more on the striker and getting him more goals, because I think that's what I don't know. That to me was the missing link for Firmino, and if he gains the confidence to be able to fill that slot as their main number 9, similar to Torres Zeke or something like that, or some of these guys, I think that they have the potential to be able to utilize that. I think that next up I see either, well, I don't, that's what I'm saying with Mo Salah and Sadio Mane kind of backing off of the Premier League Golden Boot and focusing on defending their Champions League title.
Okay.
And I see them focusing, bagging more goals in the Champions League than in the Premier League. I see Aguero giving that a good shout. I see Aguero just tearing up the league in terms of goals. I think that he's going to be probably the most dangerous striker in the Premier League. I don't see anybody being any more. Yeah,
I think he already is. And
yeah,
his consistency is incredible. Yeah.
Right, guys, thank you very much for
Football United
joining us.
TV. Let's go.